So I've been watching a lot of stuff on gender equality. I guess I'm a little bit late. So my opinion about, and I'm just talking about male, female. Those are the only genders I believe in. Now, it's a fact, but I'm not going to get into that. You know, women will never be equal to men, and men will never be equal to women. And there's various reasons, and I'd like to cover that. I was infantry in the Marine Corps, and there's it's it's whether you could say that a woman could do the things that men could do, carry a grown man, drag him, you know, big guy, 170, 180 pounds, built like a shit brick house, with his 100 pounds worth of gear and ammo. That was hard for me to do. You know, uh, at my best shape that I was in physically, it was nearly impossible to do. It took everything, and I was always a pretty big guy. I was always pretty strong and fit, and I had a lot of stamina. I used to run a lot. I could barely do it. And it's not just about the physical stuff either, as meant for training and combat and stuff like that. The Marine Corps, at least when I was in, was very different than what it is today. I understand that. But, the things that took place, the hazing, the embarrassing things they made us do, just the abuse they put us through, you know. Infantry school, they took my MRE, it was open, they drug it through the mud, they made me eat it. Um, that would never happen with a female, never. Um, you know, the beating of your ass, all the profanity and all that shit that I can't even say on here. Um, that would go on. It Females would it just wouldn't happen around them, and that kind of hazing and abuse would never be tolerated. I mean, just when I've seen a lot of females in the Marine Corps that they start getting treated like shit, and then they cry sexual harassment, and everyone gets in trouble, and the guy that did something, or hazed that lady, or he was shit canned, he was in trouble. Um, us men, that what are you gonna do about it? You're not gonna do nothing. It's part of the Marine Corps. And in the terms of society, like you know, you're, it's just it will never be the same. Um, I don't think I've really had a woman come up to me and make a pass at me. Um, maybe maybe one or two out of the women that I've been with, which is you know, uh, which is more than one or two. I don't want to talk myself up, but um, out of quite a few women, I've had maybe one or two that saw me at the gym, asked me for my number, um, but I've never really had anyone, uh, you know, take me out to dinner, wine and dine me, make sexual passes at me, and if you, even if you throw everything I just said out the door, which I'll give you that, you could do that. There's so many possibilities and things that you could get around that and say, well, there's this, there's that, there's some women that are like, I'm not like the rest of the women, and you know, okay. Besides that point, let's get to the legal issues, really, because when it comes to cops, um, it'll never be the same, ever. Um, when it comes to court, when it comes to family court, when it comes to domestic violence, when it comes to any kind of violence, physical, you know, mental, verbal, women will never be held to the same standards as men, ever. I repeat, they will never be held to the same standards, ever. See, a lot of people are out there and they're like, oh, fucking Ryan's going on his fucking sexist rant because he fucking hates women because, he met the wrong ones. Well, I worked as a bailiff and I've been in the courts and I've seen how it happens. And I met other people that were in the court waiting for their time to, go up there and deal with the judge and the DA. And, all their stories are about the same. This girl screwed me over. She destroyed my stuff. She did this and that. And the man gets blamed. The man always gets blamed. Um, you know, very, very rare. Um, out of all the times, out of all of the time, I've I've called the cops in self-defense and told them that she's beating on me, she's breaking stuff. One time, that was Lakewood Police Department, and the reason why they did something, and I believe this to this day, is because the cops that finally did something about it, they were women, and so they knew the game that my girlfriend was playing. But besides that, um, these women, they say they want to be equal, and they think they're tough, and they want to be tough like a man, and they want to come at you like a man, and they want to walk up to you and hit you like a man. And then when you defend yourself, um, and you knock them on their ass, and you don't even hit them that hard, because I've gotten to that point where please stop, don't do that. You hold them and you're like, you need to stop. You're trying to walk out of the house, and they go and block the door and start hitting you. I've had women say, if you leave this house during an argument, I'm going to take a condom that you used and put it inside me and say you raped me. I've had women take razor blades to my wrist. You name it. It's been a good time. Um, and it gets to the point where you let them hit you, and then you finally have enough of it. The asking, the trying to, block their punches and throw their hands away, and you're trying, and they're just like, they got like an arm, uh, bandage on a cast, from breaking their wrist, and they're like hitting you like a hammer, and you're like, getting hit, and you're it's embarrassing. And you plead with them, please stop, and you finally get to that point, and you're like, all right, and then they're like, oh my God, I'm a woman, you hit me, oh my God. And then when the cops get involved or something, when it becomes a legal matter, like, you could walk into the courtroom like I did. My shirt's all ripped up. I'm all busted up, and she's scratching me. I'm black and blue, and I'm like, she started it. She hit me, and kind of like my probation officer says, well, you're a big guy, you could take it, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, you're a guy, you could take it. I'll tell you what, when a woman hits a man, it's different. It's definitely different when they start using furniture. But a lot of people are like, men, they don't have any emotion, and I'll tell you right now that men do. Men feel just as much as women do. We just express it differently, and it hurts. It hurts in different ways. Getting spit in the eyeball, getting punched in the balls. Um, it's embarrassing, and you're like, who am I gonna tell? Because when you call the cops, they're not gonna believe you. They don't. 9 times out of 10, they don't. In fact, they take you to jail because in Colorado, state law, any domestic violence, someone goes to jail. And who do you think that is? The woman? The man. Unless she straight up like stabs you or shoots you, there's like you're bleeding to death or something like that. They really don't do anything. And then when it gets to court, and they if they do look at the woman and say, hey, you did this is wrong, uh, the woman always cries victim. She's like, well, I was I'm a I'm a girl, and he's a lot bigger than me, and I didn't hurt him, he's just acting like I did. And they're like, yeah, she's right, he's a man, he could take it, and this isn't me just talking nonsense. This really happened. This is real. It happened. It happened to me several times. And all you bootlickers out there, and you police apologists, or the people that were cops, like I said, you're like, oh, not my department. Nope, nope. So your department, out of pretty much every single department in the state of Colorado, your department is special. Like, they've never fucked up before when it comes to domestic violence, and put the wrong person in handcuffs. I'm telling you right now that's bullshit. Maybe when you're on duty, and I know you're a good person and you make good judgment calls, that doesn't happen. But cops aren't known for making good judgment calls. Obviously, they run around fucking murdering people. They don't even know the laws, and then they try to arrest you, and you're like, what are you arresting for me? Well, what law? You're resisting. Me smash. You know. So it It will never be the same because whenever it's a legal issue where any kind of violence comes into play, and that's not even counting uh, divorce. Okay, I didn't even go there. Notice that. That's a whole nother level that I've never had to experience. And I get lonely and shit, and I think about all my friends that got divorced, and they're fucking, they don't, that those women took them to the fucking cleaners, and they're not even at the cleaners anymore. They're outside of the cleaners, in the garbage can looking for food. Okay, they're fucking toast. Kids, they, and that's what the courts do, because I work security in the courthouses, in family court, and it was considered the most dangerous part of court. Not like the county courts where you got like the felons that like do drugs and shit. No, it was a family court because they figured the men were going to lose it and turn violent because they were going to lose their kids. And they do. They do lose their kids. And a lot of guys I met in jail when I was in jail, and I thought they were horrible people. I thought people that are in jail are criminals, they're violent, they're rapists, they're child molesters, and they're not. They're actually decent people that got caught, or they got a DUI or something like that. And I'm not going to get into the whole how they treat DUIs and drinking way worse than drugs, hardcore drugs. But the women, a lot of them, they call the police on their boyfriends and their husbands, and they think, I'm going to teach this guy a lesson. They, and I don't know how many times I've heard, well, you know, she called the cops, and then she's like, well, I just wanted to scare them, and they're like, well, that's not how it works. Now we have to take him to jail, and they take the guy to jail. He loses his job, uh, loses probably vehicles, cars, whatever stuff he's got to pay off. That's probably going to be repossessed. Um, and then the mother loses someone to take care of the kids. And the lady goes back and she's like, oh, it actually never happened. And then the court says, well, it doesn't matter if it didn't happen. We want a conviction because all the courts are a prison and money generating revenue business. That's all they do. They do not care if you're innocent. It's not a justice system. It's a legal system. The more prisoners they have, the more people that they could report to in their custody to the government to get a bigger budget next year. They get more money, more prisoners, more money, and more free labor. And they don't care about destroying your life. And this is all because of these right here. That's what it's all about. Them Hooters. They get men into trouble, ruins their lives, and I guarantee you, when I was talking about how the woman says, well, I just wanted you to scare them. This is another reason why I hate cops. I think they're pigs, and I fucking hate their guts. Because as soon as that woman said that, she just admitted to reporting a false police report. She just admitted her self guilt to making a false accusation, a false police report. You know, I read somewhere I think in England, good old fucking Britain, some woman, accused a man and a woman were married and they got divorced, but they still kept having sex. And the woman wanted her ex-husband back. He just wanted some ass. And so she got mad and she called the police over there and said this guy was raping her. Well, they found out, they investigated the whole thing and they found out she was upset and she was lying. They threw her in fucking jail, I think for like 5 years. That's how England does things. They do things. It's really sad that the people we won our slavery from are have more morals and values than us. They have a better justice system than we do. It's insane. And you know, which kind of contradicts what I say. Women will never be equal. Because I guess now that kind of goes back to maybe it's just in America. Um, but still, though, many times, probably over there, the same thing happens. A lot of women, they'll go and, they'll abuse their man, and then they'll cry wolf, they'll cry the victim, and then the man gets screwed. And they're going to believe the woman because they got beat. You know, honestly, that's really how it is. In the Marine Corps, if a female is ever being treated the way I was, like hazed and shit, like I guarantee, like for every like some guy somewhere would be running over her, and he'd be like, "You leave her alone. She's just a woman." I guarantee you that totally would happen. Some guy would want to be the hero because he figured maybe, because in my mind, if I went and saved some woman and from getting hazed or something, you think that she would want to sleep with me for being the hero. That's the concept us guys have. And being a man, like no one's gonna come up to Lance Corporal Chopper and save me from getting laid because as much as I would like to be gay, I'm not gay. Uh, man, I would have so much money if I was gay right now. Makes you wonder. Makes you think. But yeah, that's my take on the whole thing. Is when it comes to equality, physically and legally, never. It's just it's I don't see it happening. At least not in my lifetime. Because, like I said, women they don't even want to be equal. They want to be special. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They don't want to just get paid like men and be one of the boys. See, when they fuck up, they want to get out of jail free card. They don't want to be held accountable, and they're going to go and use that female privilege card that I'm a woman. I got these, you know, and I like I said, I'm just beating the dead horse. But I've seen it. I've lived through it. I'm a victim of it. And it's a fight you can't win. I mean, it got to the point, ladies and gentlemen, that I even asked my attorney when I was facing all of those charges because of my ex. And I'm not playing with you. I straight up asked my lawyer. I was like, what if I just start identifying as a woman? Like, would that kind of like help my case? Like, you know, like how would they treat me if I was just like, if I started wearing a bra and I was just like, my milkshake brings all the boys in the yard and things up. I was like, well, that fucking do it, man. Like, you know. And she's like, no, that's not funny, Mr. Chopper. That's not a real thing. And I was like, I don't know, but yep, that's my take on it. You know. All right.